We back. We back. 2 black, 1 white. The Asian guys
I am
out.
an Oreo.
We swap out. Like, well, one Asian will be here, and then the Asian will be gone, and the white will be here, and then the white will be gone. So far, the 2 black people only one that stays.
It's part of our DEI requirements. At least one of us minorities have to be here.
We have to be here, and the two blacks have to. Otherwise,
be here.
You're
Yeah,
fired.
majority's got to be.
Can't do the show.
Now, I will make a disclaimer before we continue. You will hear a buzz once in a while because I have to keep my phone on at least vibrate because I'm waiting on a message from the wife. So if you guys can't handle that, too bad. Deal with it. This is how it's going to be. Okay. All right.
That's the only buzzing.
Facebook, let's get you up and running, shall we? If it'll let me. It will not let me do it there. Give me a second before we get into this because it's vital that Facebook joins us for this one. FYI.
Is it vital? Like national security
mucho,
vital?
National security. Mucho. You know, everything is national security. You know that, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's to me, that's the blanket term they always use when they want to hide stuff. It's like, oh yeah, it's for national security reasons.
National security.
Just like eminent domain is when I want to take your land.
I should try that with the police officer.
What, national security?
Or no, eminent domain.
Now, you know what does work? NDAs during an interview. Can you explain this gap in your resume? I cannot.
That's not a bad. I had not thought about doing that.
Oh, yeah, I can. It's an NDA. Oh, that's a good idea.
I cannot explain it.
Really? That works?
I have NDA. No damn acknowledgement.
They can't ask you if you say it's an NDA. They can't even ask you who it is with.
Oh, man, I'm gonna use that if I ever want to. I don't think I ever want to work for anybody again, but if I ever have to, that's a good idea.
You know, leave it to a white guy to figure that one out.
Yeah, how to trick the system.
Just saying.
The shady white collar stuff. Yeah, that's what it is.
So we're about to kick off. In case you ever wanted to know why the Democrats would want to shut down government, and the reason they'd want to shut it down, in my estimation, is that they're uncovering way too much of their activity. Now, if they were to get a government shutdown, in their mind, this is what they think. In their mind, that would stop too. I got bad news for y'all. It wouldn't, because here's the thing. I would bet that Elon probably doesn't need to get paid to do what he's doing. So he'll probably just do it for free. So
I believe he is.
You're not gonna stop nothing. Trump already not getting paid. He'll still stick around and do what he gotta do. So shut down the government all you want, buddy, but you'll be harming yourself, not the rest of the country. You'll still find out what you're trying to hide. Now, if you think they don't want to shut down, here's Andy. This is a culturally appropriate Andy from Toy Story, and he carries the last name of Kim. So let's hear what Andy Kim has to say about, the shutdown. He says in the title, they say, Democrats may shut down government to oppose Trump if we have to. Now, I want you just let that one soak in for a minute. There is no other reason to shut down the government.
That's true.
Just to oppose Trump, though. That would be logical. All right. But I'll let Ching Chong Chang say it himself.
I know that the battles are playing out in the court. They are also playing out in protests and rallies. Senator Chuck Schumer, the minority leader in the Senate, held a news conference that was a lot like a rally outside of the Treasury Department to counter some of the actions by Elon Musk. Take a look.
I am going to stand with you in this fight, and we will win. We will win. We will win. We will win.
Oh my God.
Are you satisfied with how your party is pushing back in this moment? Have Democrats found their footing?
Well, I want to make sure that the American people see it across the board in terms of all the different prongs of what's happening. There is the litigation side, the legislation, the oversight, the communication, and I'll also add the mobilization that you saw there. When it comes to litigation, what we've seen so far, dozens of lawsuits. This is something that the senators, we had been in touch with the state's attorney general ever since November, talking about what comes next. And you see so far, right now, the state's attorney generals are 3 for 3 in terms of to move that forward. Now we're also proceeding with the legislation side. We have the continuing resolution. Basically, in a few weeks, the Republicans are going to try to figure out how they move forward. And they have, for the last 2 years, needed Democratic votes for every single continuing resolution, and they should not count on that this time around.
Okay, you take me to my next question, because your colleague Jeff Merkley basically said he's prepared to try to shut down the government. over some of these sledgehammer actions that he's seeing by Elon Musk. Are you prepared to shut down the government, to join Democratic colleagues who want to stand in the way of keeping the government open?
Well, you have to look at what the Trump administration is doing right now. They are simply trying to. They are simply trying to dismantle the government.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
Yes.
No.
No.
Okay. The dumbest thing, it's like the dumbest thing about this whole situation is the fact of when it really comes down to the brass and tacks of it and the button nuts and bolts, what are they advocating to stop, right? Which is Elon Musk and Donald Trump from stopping the government from spending your money. And how is that a winning proposition for a midterm in 2 years? Is that, oh yeah, we were fighting against Trump to stop him from saving Americans money.
Well, I think you're looking at this wrong, Coy. Okay, let me help you. Help you. See, the problem is you're looking at it as though the Democrats make sense when they make their decisions.
Right, right.
You
also,
remember,
he's a spy because he counts.
The election just happened, right? And they didn't listen to what people were wanting to do, and they just went around. So why now do we think that all of a sudden they're going to use logic to make their decision? That's not. I don't think that's ever been their bread and butter is logic.
Right.
Okay, real quick, Marlon. I'm going to read the definition of what a government shutdown is. But I want you to. I'm going to read it. What a government shutdown is, real fast. And I want you to ask yourself, isn't this what DOGE is already doing? Okay. It goes, the government shutdown is when Congress is unable to pass appropriation bills that finance the operations of federal agencies and programs, such as the National Institute of Health, NIH, or the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP.
Yeah, all of the non-essential government programs to run the government get shut down, right?
So
including employees.
In the foot is what you're saying,
right?
Yes.
So what it would do is it would literally do even worse than a 90-day freeze that Trump has already called for, which the judge ruled against him for earlier. It would actually shut all of government down from spending anything.
Then we're good with it. Let's do it.
Which
I'm for it.
It's so dumb.
I would vote Democrat. Can you believe it? I just became a Democrat. I am for the government shutdown.
They want to shut the government down because what it would do is it would say, oh, it looks bad because Trump shut the government down. It's like, no, it looks like you're just obstructing his government from saving taxpayers' money. Is what it looks like. You're just obstructing to obstruct. There's no actual legal basis for any of this other than the fact that you don't like Elon Musk going into the books and looking at what you've been doing.
Now, don't you think all that the billions of dollars that Elon has shown us that is being saved, if they shut the government down today, wouldn't they be able to, Trump could say, you know what, take that money and shift it over to these programs that they shut down.
Yeah.
We're going to continue to fund the government. This is a bunch of Democrats pouting and upset that they're not getting their way, that they can't steal our money anymore, and they're mad. So they're pretty much saying, well, if we can't get our money, neither can the people.
You know what also throws me off that makes me think he's a spy is the fact that he counts with his thumb, because Americans don't do that. They count with the first finger, right? They don't do the thumb thing. That's Europeans and Asians count this way.
I count that way.
I don't ever use my thumb to count. You're a spy.
Yeah, I count started with my thumb.
And you're Russia or China?
It reminds me of Inglourious Bastards in that scene where he like puts up his finger instead of the thumb to count for how many he wanted, which was supposed to be for 3, right? But he said it like this. This sort of reminds me.
Americans are wrong. You're supposed to count with the first finger on your hand.
All right.
If you're counting,
we'll be shutting down the program, guys.
Okay, I'm kidding.
We have a spy among us, and I cannot be on screen with a traitor, racist, bigot spy.
The thumb is number 1, isn't it?
This is getting out of hand. 1, 2, I didn't know. 4, Michael lied to me. He said he was an American. He said he was pro America. Now look at him being all spy. We can't tolerate that, man. Hey, you see me? I'm a patriot, and I don't stand for that nonsense. Okay.
Yeah. In all seriousness, like the thing about this whole business is that these people are fake, including how they count.
Yep. Like this with
Mike, and you said yes.
No, this is wrong.
We got him.
With your index finger is wrong.
Wait, we got you. You said yes already. Too late. Let him continue. Maybe he'll make sense. I always have hope for people. Well, a few people. Not everybody. Okay.
So yes, look, if we have to take steps
Mm-hmm.
to be able to hold them accountable, use the leverage that we have to force it, I cannot support efforts that will continue this lawlessness that we're seeing when it comes to this administration's actions.
Can anybody tell me what law? Hear me out carefully, please, before anyone answers. This is the question. What law is President Trump violating that would make him a law breaker?
Well, just like they did in his 34 felony cases, they don't have an actual
precedent.
They don't actually have one until they make it up. That's the whole thing, is that he did it in the furtherance of a crime, but they never actually said what the other crime was. And that's what they'll do here. They'll just say he's committing a crime and then make up what that crime is later when they figure it out.
Yep, that's exactly true.
So what you're telling me is no crime? There's no crime?
Yeah, there is no crime. Yeah.
So you mean
we should be used to
what he's
this.
doing?
We should be used to this by now, right? Every time they say Trump broke a law or something, you should just know that it's nothing. He did nothing. Just something.
Okay, but he's lawless, so there has to be something he's breaking.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, they're balls. That's what he's breaking. I get it now.
The funniest thing is the Democrats are working harder than they ever did in the last 4 years to stop them from going through all of their numbers in their money. That's the funniest thing about this whole situation is for the entire 4 years that Joe Biden was president, they didn't even fight to try to remove him with the 25th Amendment, even though everybody knew he wasn't there, right? But now that Elon Musk and Donald Trump are going through the books, now they got to do something. Now we got to stop this. We got to stop all of this.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time listening to you, Kim, thinking that you know stuff. Maybe you'll name the law. Let's see.
And for us to be able to support government funding in that way, only for them to turn it around to dismantle the government, that is not something that should be allowed.
So just to be clear, Senator, you are open to voting yes to shut down the government, to make this point.
This is on them. This is about whether or not they can get the votes. They are the majority. And if they cannot govern, then that's for the American people to see. But I worked in government.
This is how you weasel out of an answer. This is how you weasel out of an answer. Now, this is all grandstanding because he mentioned the fact that Republicans have the upper hand. Okay. Mm-hmm. So if we have the upper hand, all what you're doing right now is simply grandstanding.
Fact.
Yeah.
If we wanted to keep it open, we can keep it open. We wouldn't need you this time around. Okay, that's what you're admitting.
It's like they can't even read the approval ratings for Donald Trump right now. Like they pretend like this is a popular position to go off of.
And here's something, the American people need to ask themselves. Do you get more out of the government being open or the government shutting down? Where are you benefiting more from? Are you benefiting from this exposure? Or are you benefiting from the government getting shut down?
Thank you.
You're benefiting from the exposure. So them shutting the government down, that is telling them they don't care about you. They only care about themselves and the programs that they're laundering money through.
But I want them to do it so that what President Trump is doing can be escalated. Now, the one thing, to your point, Coy, and to your definitions, right? If all the things that are going to get shut down are already the programs that shouldn't be running, you're doing President Trump a favor, you monkey. You are so slow that you don't realize that you're playing the game we want you to play. Now I can kind of believe that the whole chess versus checkers thing is real now, because but then again, it may not be. It could be that Trump is playing checkers and these people don't know anything about the games he's playing and they're just not participating.
Hey, Marlon, I got a wiki for you to pull up for him. So here's another key information. When did he assume office?
Oh, look at that.
Just this last session. He is a senator serving for New Jersey with Booker, by the way, Senator Booker, Cory Booker, right, from New Jersey. He is a newly minted senator from this last election. So he has 6 years now. He's trying to make a name for himself in this presidency in order to probably try to stand out.
Wrong way.
For something. Yeah. Whatever it might be.
It's not him. It's the party that was like, throw the new guy. Let the new guy take this on.
Let the Asian dude do it.
Let the Asian. They're not going to go after the Asian guy.
That's where you're wrong. Black people can feel free to go after the Asian guy.
Yeah.
Secret Asian man. Secret Asian man.
Hey, the whole time he's been talking, I was asking myself, like, who is this guy? I've never seen.
Well, nobody knows him because he's new. That's why.
Yeah, that's what I was asking myself as we were
I've
watching.
heard his name before, though.
So he's trying to make a name for himself, and this is a terrible way to go.
Their names sound the same, Marlon.
Oh, could be. I could be hearing double names.
Yeah.
Work through multiple government shutdowns. I would be the last person to want to get to that stage. But we are at a point where we are basically on the cusp of a constitutional crisis.
It's always either a constitutional crisis, an existential crisis, a planetary crisis. It's always a crisis with you people.
Remember when they said he was a threat to democracy?
Mm-hmm.
Just like not too long ago, and that he has to be stopped by all means necessary. And the guy got shot once and almost assassinated, or tried to assassinate him twice.
I have a question for you, Marlon.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all these government agencies that they're threatening to shut down with this government shutdown, how many of those agencies are in our Constitution?
Say that one more time.
So how many of these agencies with this government shutdown that they're that's threatening, that they're threatening to shut down, how many of those agencies are written in our Constitution?
Zero.
That are constitutional. So when they say it's a constitutional crisis, is it though? Is it?
Is it?
Is it? No.
If they were created with 19 in front of the numbers, it's not a constitutional crisis for them to be shut down.
That's right. So,
and that includes the FBI, the CIA, the DEA, the ATF, Department of Education. I can go down the list of all the things we've created in the last 100 years.
The NIH. Anyway, continue here.
Seeing this administration taking steps that are so clearly illegal. And until we see a change in that behavior, we should not allow and condone that, nor should we assist in that.
I'm still waiting to find out what is clearly illegal. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. Clearly illegal should mean that you have not just precedent to fight back, yes, but to bring to charge, right? It's illegal, is what you're saying. If it's illegal, do you really need to shut down the government to get your point across? Or do you have now standing to fully impeach and remove him if it's fully illegal?
If he's indeed committing a crime. So that's the question. What it reminds me of is the fat white lady screaming, "That's illegal!" at you for putting something in your yard. That's what it reminds me of.
I've always wondered about these people and how they manage to get to the spots that there are in life, and how they manage to talk the way they talk and get away with the way they talk. I've never quite understood how they can say something so unequivocally. It is illegal. How? You see, we have to shut down the government. Okay, but back up to the question. How is it illegal, and what law did he break? The illegality of it is that he's messing with government. Yes, okay, good. I'll agree with you. He's messing with government. How is it illegal? You just don't understand. I know, which is why I'm asking you to help me understand how it's illegal. On to other things. Now, if you watch Elon Musk, and I'm like, come on, man.
Because if it's illegal, it has to be written somewhere. There has to be a statute. There has to be a penal code. Show us. Right. Show us exactly what he's doing and something that makes it illegal. Your words mean nothing. It's like, trust me, bro. It's illegal. Trust me.
It's like, at least show me that he stole mail or something. You know what I mean? Like at the very basic level of like he did something illegal is like he messed with the postal service. You know, that sort of thing. You could at least make that argument is like, well, he's trying to defund the postal service, which is illegal to mess with the federal mail, which it is. It is a felony to mess with federal mail.
Well, unless you're considering those people in mail positions, federal.
I still have no idea how this woman from Texas exists.
You
not
fully
her.
You can't say it, but we can say it.
Hey, whose wig was more expensive?
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it, and y'all can get mad all y'all want. I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna say it with all my chest. You ready? This nigga ain't qualified for the position she got. Okay,
I was gonna say I don't think it's a wig. I think she has really good extensions.
No.
Let's go with that.
That's a wig. That's
think it's
a
a
wig.
full-on wig? All right.
That's
Heck
a
yeah.
full-on wig.
I mean, who's got shorter hair under the wig?
That's okay. She's probably dark enough. That's probably true.
Maxine.
You know,
or,
lighter
Yeah.
skin women will have more
Edges.
extensions than the
Edges.
dark.
Always look for
Dark
the
ones,
edges.
That's true.
That's a
That's
wig.
true.
That's a wig.
I know that sounded weird coming out of my white mouth, but I there you go.
I'm just telling you now. This is the most ratchet, street hood, and not intelligent human being at all. She got in there because she's a black female and she made noise, and people think slay queen, and she got in. Now listen to what
Doesn't
she
hurt
has
to have a
say.
D next to her name.
Yeah, hey, that's probably how she got in there with the D. So she followed in Kamala Harris's footsteps. The D got her in there, and she's making sure the D's still by her name. I'm just saying, you know, if the title fits. So let's hear what she has to say.
So let me tell you something,
Yeah.
Mr. Trump.
Mm-hmm.
You gonna learn a few lessons from us.
Uh-huh.
And I'm gonna be the first one. You and your little friend off of Twitter. Y'all about to find out, all right?
Find out what?
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna find out that the face you're wearing ain't your face. I think that we can find out pretty easily. I'm pretty sure that you are not the person that you present. That would be a crime. It's called catfishing. I would not do that if I were you.
I have a question too. I have a bunch of questions, but why does the Democrat think it's okay to put these sassy, loud black women in front of the camera as if this is how we're supposed to act? It's almost like they're acting like people expect them to act. It's a stereotypical loud black woman. But then you look on the right, you don't get a lot of that from the black woman on the right. Why is that?
Yeah. She's at it again. This time I think she says something a little bit more intelligent. No, I'm lying.
Here we go.
It's not.
I'm gonna try my best not to preach.
Oh.
Preach. Preach what? Preach what?
It's almost a stereotype at this point.
That's a stereotype. That's a black folk.
Yeah, it is.
Come
That's
on
what
now,
she
man. Come on,
What?
man.
Why is hang on, Marlon? I have a question. Why is it that when any sort of black politician gets up there, especially from the Democratic Party, they always have to channel the inner MLK somehow?
I can tell you why. I'm glad you asked that. I'm going to take her down for just a second because I want to answer your question.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to answer your question the very best way I know how. Hold on 1 second. You have to just bear with me. I will read it to you. What and why. Okay. This is exactly, we'll come back to her in a second. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But this is why, sir. And I'm going to piss off a lot of these hoteps with this. And I hope you stay mad. I hope you get so mad that your diabetes rise all the way to the top and your sickle cell traits just pop up. That's what I hope. So here you go. This is why. The minister's work is also important, and he should be trained, perhaps by the Federation, as to our ideals and the goals that we hope to reach. We do not want word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population, and the minister is the man who can straighten out that idea if it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members. You know why they talk like that?
Margaret Sanger, Jesus.
Margaret Sanger
Mm-hmm.
has infiltrated these dumb cotton-picking Negroes to the point where they act exactly like Massa told them to. These dumb, nappy-headed Negroes that don't have a brain cell to rub together push the same narrative over and over that kept their ancestors enslaved, that kept their ancestors killed, that brought them back to the plantation when they ran away. These dumb, ignorant, stupid niggas, these are the people that want to talk like they know something. This Jasmine Crockett fool, it's idiots like that would have lassoed every Negro trying to run away.
Mm-hmm.
This is why there is a difference between black people and niggas. She is a bona fide, hardcore, worthless nigga. And she's the same kind of people that Margaret Sanger recruited, wanted to have in the wheelhouse, loved. They were the sellouts. Just like every other black leader you have today, it's people like her.
Yep.
I want y'all to know that's what I think of every last one of you that think like her. That's what you are. A worthless, good for nothing, shiftless nigga. And what you deserve is to not be heard. Point blank, period. But when you make a lot of noise, people will listen to you. At least even if you're not making sense, people will listen to you. Now, Coy couldn't say it, but I will say it on his behalf because I know he agree. Any logical thinking human being would agree.
Yeah.
There's no need for you to sing song to me. And why do you think it's important that even the stupid woke white people do the same thing? Hillary Clinton did it.
Yeah.
AOC did it. Right? Every last one of Kamala did it. Even what's her name? The Indian did it. Why did they all pick that? Because that was the mantra that Margaret Sanger brought to the table. If you talk like you're sing song and preaching, they're going to listen to you because you know what? All the dumb, uneducated Negroes back in the day, that's exactly what they did. They listened to the smart Negro that talked exactly like the preacher.
Yep.
That's why they talk like that.
It's the most laziest form of rhetoric to me. Like you could possibly pull off any sort of like sing-songy voice type preaching like you're a Southern preacher just annoys me because it's so stereotypical now.
And if you really think about what Marlon said, if you look at a lot of the so-called black leaders in the so-called black community, what are they? Reverends,
grifters,
all reverends and stuff. Yep.
Well, not to leave out Joel Osteen because that guy's a grifter too.
You think
I'm just saying, like
he just thinks he's black, but he's not. Well, let's listen here.
Well, in the other crazy dude, the one with the eyes, going to take flats because there's demons on them planes.
Oh, you're talking about Copeland. Because the black churches are the biggest supporters of the Democrat deconstruction of the black community. Exactly. But that's by design. That is by design.
Yep.
It happened and it hasn't stopped since. And you'll hear people like this buffoon talking as though she thinks she's educated, but all she can use is poor English because that's all she knows. Acts. And I'm going to tell you something because she doesn't even know how to speak in normal ways for people to understand. Everything she knows comes from a first grade book. And even then she couldn't pass it. Reach.
I just want to say,
what do you want to say?
Thank you. Because every day that we show up in DC, we show up for you. We know who we work for. We know that we work for the American people. And what we're not going to do is stand around while they pull this bullshit that they trying to pull right now.
That's not preaching. I'm not sure you understand what this. I'm not sure you understand the virtue of preaching. Okay? I don't think you understand it. What was that movie? What was the movie? Princess Bride. I don't think that word means what you think it means.
We're like I said earlier in the program, where were you 4 years ago doing your job? Like we're here every day doing their work. No, you're not. Everybody knows you're not. There's a reason why Donald Trump got elected is because you're not.
That's crazy.
Yep.
I look. Anyway, I'm gonna let her continue here. And see what she got to say, because she might say something. No, she won't say anything intelligent. But anyway,
now,
go ahead.
This is why I'm not going to be able to preach, because
this is why I'm not going to be able to preach. So why say that you try not to preach? I mean, you're a liar, right?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
We won't be able to stop cussing.
What then don't assume that you could preach. I'm just saying you should know by now that your mouth is just as open as your anyway, but I would suggest that you just not say something that you know you can't do, like preach.
But let me tell y'all something. I know some of y'all have been frustrated, and you've been saying, "Where Democrats? Where are leaders?" Well, I'm here to tell you that we ain't never left y'all.
We ain't never. That's a double negative. So you did leave. We ain't never, which means we did leave y'all. We ain't never, no time, never, not once, not, no, never.
To me, it's insulting, man. You know, that they look that low. They look at black people like that for them to get up there and talk.
That's crazy.
Ain't. You know, the way she's talking like to the lowest common denominator, like that we're too stupid to understand normal English. You know what I mean? So I don't get it, man. It's insulting to me, and I can't believe people would actually sit up here and listen to this woman.
All right?
All right.
We are here. We are also going to make sure that they uphold the law. We are not going to sit around while you go ahead and desecrate our Constitution, or you look at the laws that have been passed into law and say, never mind, we'll just ignore that. Instead, we are going to be in your face. We are going to be on your asses, and we are going to make sure.
Sounds an awful lot. It sounds an awful massish, don't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, boss lady.
Yes, boss lady. We're gonna straighten up, fly right for you real quick. Like, oh, don't worry about it.
You know,
We
she
got you
just
down.
I got
Yes,
I got to
boss.
point out that she disproved her colleague, Senator Kim, just in the previous video saying that he did things illegal and then saying we're going to make sure they're following the law, even though they already said he broke the law.
Broke it. Yeah.
Your messaging is broken, sir, ma'am, whatever.
Well, you see, Cora, you're missing the whole point, sir. You're missing it, sir.
Yeah.
And which
Yeah.
American people are she talking about? Because based off the election, I think the majority of Americans voted for Donald Trump.
This girl.
My favorite thing to watch from C-SPAN is when her and MTG get into it.
Yeah.
Bro. It's fantastic. Great season.
It's messed up. Hang on one second. All right. Let her continue.
We're going to make sure you understand what democracy looks like. This ain't it.
I'm 100% behind you. What you got behind you ain't democracy.
Yep.
Or, no, I'm going to disagree. That is democracy.
I think
are
that
now
might
the
be a
least
Chinese
heard
spy.
voice, and nobody cares what you got to say. This is why. If you want to say we live in a democracy, then what you should do is shut up because nobody wanted y'all. And if it was majority rule, then shut up and sit down and wait till y'all get back into the majority to have a say. That would be democracy. FYI.
Wait, before you start that, what she's pointing behind her is a Chinese spy and a Muppet next to it.
Ain't that crazy? This is one of the outcast Muppets that didn't make it to the final show.
Now that song, that song is playing in my head when you said it.
She absolutely does look like a Muppet.
She looks like
I'm
a
not
manamana.
joking.
She's a manamana. Manamana. Do, 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 do.
Manamana.
Sorry.
So let me tell you something.
Tell me something.
Mr. Trump.
Yeah.
You're going to learn a few lessons from us.
Oh, we are.
And
I'm gonna
be the first one. You and your little friend off of Twitter.
So that's where she picked up that second half of her idiotic state.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that little man off of Twitter the richest man in the world or something like that? That little man on Twitter. You mean that little man that you're using his platform to post your rhetoric and all your crap every single day?
Yeah.
That little man though.
You're
using this stuff.
Get elected. Yeah. The dude catches rockets. Like literal rocket boosters get caught that are the size of like giant buildings, and he catches them. Not himself, but obviously his company does. I mean, that would be really weird to see Elon Musk out there just like catch the rocket, you know? But he catches rockets, and she can barely form a sentence.
Well, she never could before she became what she became. So
they found her at the community college and built her.
Man, I don't even know she was at the community college.
I know this is going to sound bad, but you do make enough money and you spend on your nails that you could hire a speech coach. I'm just saying. You
You have to have the brains to learn from the speech coach. Okay. Now let's listen to the ancestor sorry, my bad. Just because she married her brother doesn't mean she's incestuous. No, that doesn't mean what it means. Let's listen to what she got to say.
Yeah, I mean, what we are witnessing is a constitutional crisis. We are seeing an executive branch that has decided that they are no longer going to abide by the Constitution in honoring Congress's role in the creation of the agencies, in their role in deciding where money is allocated.
Okay. Question. What is the purpose of the executive branch? is to officiate the things that Congress passed and the laws, and to effectively organize and manage them.
Mm-hmm.
You see, Coy, you're expecting them to know the law that they say they uphold.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I expect them to know the Constitution and the 3 branches of government, but they can barely understand one of them.
Who created these agencies? Who had to really sign off saying yes? Because the director of those agencies usually answer to who?
Oh,
The
the
President of the United
people,
States.
or
Yeah.
Democrats or something like that.
I'm just asking questions,
Okay, if I were to
Unelected
guess,
bureaucrats,
it'd
honestly.
probably be the starts a P, a president, maybe.
Yeah, that
Yeah, the president. Yeah.
So if the president pretty much signs off on these agencies and appoints people for these agencies, who can get rid of the agencies?
She is probably.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, I was about to make a really bad joke. I probably should make that one.
No, Sam, I'm kidding.
I know that I would insist on wearing a burqa. So
Wait, she's ugly enough to keep her face covered, but she doesn't want to.
Anyway, the point being is that the president of the United States is the one that has executive control over the executive branch of government. Congress has no control over what the executive does. Now, he cannot. Those that were made by laws by Congress that were actually bills, he cannot just dismantle them, but he can shift all of their responsibilities to other places whenever the hell he feels like it.
Right.
Right, because that is his duty as an executive officer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the case of USAID, it was an executive action that was made by Kennedy, so he can, and in fact did, remove it because it was under his authority and right as the president of the United States. Now, the Department of Education, on the other hand, that's a different story. He cannot just say it no longer exists because it was passed by Congress, but he can take all the things that happen in the Department of Education and shift them to other agencies to have responsibilities over. So it could just be a shell of itself. It still exists. It just doesn't have anything to do.
Yeah, so pretty much it doesn't exist. It's just there.
I
like the shell of my soul. It's there, but it's not there.
I don't think they understand government to begin with. And this is what you're seeing when civics got removed. What you end up with a bunch of brain dead people running for office that don't really know the office. They don't even know what powers the president possesses. They don't even understand what their role is. What they do enter this stuff for is money. They enter thinking I can make laws that can easily pad my pocket. I can pass bills and send them in and get my cronies to get in on it, and I get a kickback. They're fully aware that that's how the normal way of going, which is why infiltrating with D.O.G.E is making them mad. For years, entry-level people enter into Congress and in the Senate and end up going from 100K net worth to 150 million within 5 years. The only way you can do that is by skimming away from the American people.
Yep.
And that goes for both sides. We understand fully. But the one making the most stink right now about it are Democrats. And the majority of them making the most noise are the ones who have been longest tenured there, or the one with the least education hoping to make ends meet with money. This is why they're mad. It has nothing to do with law breaking, because they know they'll discover law breaking if Elon continues to look at this. They're trying to make the most noise so that you don't look over here at the actual crime by telling you there's a crime over here. Look, no, here. Look at Trump. Look at Trump. Meanwhile, they're running out the back door with billions and billions of dollars that they don't want you seeing over there, which is why they're not making a stink over the fraud found. They're making a stink over the people finding the fraud.
Finding the fraud. Exactly. And that's the biggest thing, is that you look at the Department of Education. Guess how much they get yearly right now? Like, just a rough guess. What do you think it is?
240 million.
Yep. That's exactly
it.
That's exactly what it is. It's 200. It's about $238 million. Like, it's about close to, you say it's 240. Either way, it's over $200 billion a year. Billion. Sorry, I meant billion.
Billion.
And most of those go to the unions, the teachers' unions, and everything else. Only a fraction actually goes to the students. And these people are out here saying, especially the teachers union rep came out and said, well, they're going to take money out of the students' mouths. And it's like, no, it's taking it out of the union's mouths, which is what these people have been advocating for. So for the past 40 some odd years since the Department of Education was created under Carter, go figure, it was Carter, it has done nothing to improve American education. In fact, it has probably done a net negative overall in people's education by having it be insisted on having it exist.
Agreed.
And so all this money that gets funneled to all these different places just go back into like NGOs, lobbyist groups, all these things. The money goes to people that are friends, family, or something else that are involved in these things. There are people who have family members that are lobbyists that are getting paid by the lobbyists, that their wife works there or their son works there or somebody works there, and they get kickbacks through family members just like the Biden family did. Everybody's doing it. And this is how this whole system works, is that we go, hey, we take a little off the top and then we put it somewhere else, right?
Yep.
It's not like overtly taking your money. We're just taking fractions of a fraction of a fraction from all these different places, but it eventually gets laundered back to the people who actually want the money.
It is becoming more and more obvious that these people are trying to run away from reality, and we have to keep their necks, or like we got to George Floyd them. Sorry. I said it. Keep our knee on their necks.
Oh
so
man,
I've been playing
great.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 recently, and one of the missions they had in there was they were stealing silver from the mines, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the things that they did is they would report in the books that they got more or less than what they had, and they would skim off the top that way by taking like 10% off, right? That's what they've been doing to the federal government this entire time. They've been taking skim off the top, saying they're for good feel-good programs. Then they get funneled into their NGO programs or to their foundations or to whatever it is. And so it looks on the books like everything is where it's supposed to be, but none of the things they're telling you are labeled are correct, because all the people writing the books are in on it.
So that'd be cooking the books, wouldn't it?
Exactly. All these people are cooking the books, and now that they're looking through the books, that's why it's so threatening to them, is because they can see where the money's actually going, and it's upsetting people.
And this is what we've been talking about for many, many episodes on the Savage Patriots, whether it dealt with the military-industrial complex, whether it dealt with big oil. We've always talked about money circling around, Uno reverse. Yeah. The money will go out and it always comes back. And now that they're getting exposed, as Coy stated, as Marlon stated, they're scared. It's not that they're not worried about the American people and the funding of these programs and the funding of, they can care less about the American people. They're worried about their own legacy and their own behinds, because they're going to get caught. You just wait. When they start figuring out that all this money for all these wars that we were fighting, that we spent years in these foreign countries, all the wars in Ukraine and this country and that country, and they start breaking that stuff down, and when it comes back to Senator Schumer or McCain or whoever, that's what they're worried about.
Period.
Well, look at the Cheneys, right? Cheney came off of being on the chairman of Halliburton, right? Goes into the Bush administration. They get involved in the war, and guess who gets all the juicy, beefy contracts with no bids? Halliburton, right? All the people like me and bro over here got paid pennies to go defend the people who were actually making the money on these wars. All the contractors we had to defend at all these FOBs and whatever else was out there, whatever bases and whatever we put out there was built by Halliburton. It was sold by all these different companies, and the contractors who got paid to work there got paid more than we did.
Period.
Facts.
This is one of those things, people, that you're going to end up hearing more and more of them come out to fight, because it is messing with their bottom line. It is messing with their bottom line, and they cannot afford that, because they built their whole life around skimming off of the American people, while telling the American people, we're for you, we're here, just put us back in power. If you notice, this is why they never really have a plan of action with their platforms. Just that they're going to help the middle class and they're going to help do this, but they never give anything concrete. Or like when Biden passed an infrastructure bill that never took off and still hasn't taken off, because the money that was allocated was never going to go to do that.
That's right.
This is why they do this. Every time you hear them say, we will, just bank on them never doing it. And they will keep putting money towards it, because the money that they take and say they're going towards it never gets put there. It gets funneled right back to them.
Yep.
That's why I still think that what's going to end up happening by the time D.O.G.E is done, half our deficit will be wiped off.
I believe it.
Oh, yeah. The funny thing about this is the Democrats are still campaigning on what they're doing right now. It's like, we can help stop Elon Musk and Donald Trump if you donate $22.
Right.
The thing with the
$22, we can stop them. Okay, how are you going to do that? Well, you got to donate $22 first, and then we'll tell you somewhere.
The thing with the Democrats is that they have to understand that what is coming, there's nothing they can do to stop it. Remember when Trump said a few years back, he said, "We got them all. We know it all." Remember that? It was like his first term when he came out and said, "We got them all. We know it all." But everybody was wondering what he meant. This is what he's mean. This is what he meant. We got it all. This is just the beginning. We're about 20 something days in, maybe. This is only the beginning, people. You got to understand there's a lot coming. And again, all this money stolen, all the resources, all the people that died, everything, it's going to come back to the American people and the people around the world. You'll see, because it's not just America that's involved. It's huge what's being exposed right now. And you actually have countries in Africa coming out saying, hey, I agree with USAID. I agree with Trump shutting it down, because they understand. Yep. They knew the truth. So just ride the storm out. It's here.
When have you ever expected the United States government to pay somebody back?
Wish there was a way to make them have to pay it. Oh, it's coming back. Don't worry.
Never.
But they won't be the one paying it back.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, they go to jail and their pension gets cut off. Then we'll see something come back. But till then,
this is what winning looks like, though.
Gulf of America. I think he should take off the A and put a capital M.
America.
Gulf of America. And just make it totally piss people off. Gulf of America.
And here, someone
that's
asked,
honestly one of the funniest things.
Sorry. Someone asked, how are they going to get it all back? And like Marlon stated, the only way, like he said, if you take all their funds, because all their funds are what type of money? Stolen money. So if I put a bunch of stolen money into my bank account and someone found out that I stole that money, what do?
They take it back.
They take the money back. So you got to understand these it's got to be trillions and trillions of dollars of stolen money between all of these people. All that stolen money will come back. And I believe that all that money that they take from these people is all going to go back to the American people. I really believe that.
Or hope so.
So I heard this the other day, is that what Elon Musk is doing is going zero line budgeting. And they're going through line by line, going justify why you spent this money and why it's here. And we need to actually rationalize what the purpose of government is. And all of these unnecessary spending is actually causing us to not function properly. That's what it's really come down to, is the bloat's gotten so big, there is no other option. We've gotten to the point that we can't even service the debt anymore. There is no other choice than what Donald Trump is doing right now. If you want to save the U.S. economy and our money, is we have to gut these programs down to the bone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good point. Sorry, Marlon, but that's a good point that Coy brought up. When for me in my house, if I look at my money and I'd be like, I got to cut back on this, and I start pulling things out that is unnecessary. I start cutting back in order to save more money at the end of the year. And this is exactly what Trump is doing, just in a macro level.
And we're married to a person who has a shopping addiction.
Yeah. Divorce.
That's what this is what we have. We have Democrats that are addicted to shopping, and they won't stop spending money on the credit card.
So shut the government down. Let's do that too. I don't care.
That will be fun. I don't know if it'll happen. I can only trust what's happened so far to continue.
Mm-hmm.
But here's my biggest issue, right? I cannot put anything past the Democrats. Mm-hmm. And that means including and up to doing what they've said they want to do, which is end the lives of these people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They've already come out saying and screaming at the top of their lungs that both Elon and President Trump need to die. They've said this. They've already attempted it 3 times. I do not put it past them to end things the way, especially if it continues going the way it's going, by exposing as much as it's exposing, for them to reach the point of no return and act on it. And actually be boisterous about the fact that they did do it. I wouldn't be surprised. So, we'll see.
No, the funniest thing about this is that he's doing what everybody said that they should do, which is not touch entitlements and to go after whatever else you can. And that's what they're doing. The funniest thing about this is the Democrats this entire time is saying that government spends too much money on almost everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Up until a point, that's what they believed, and what we all believed is that the government spends too much money. And then all of a sudden, they're like, okay, we won't touch entitlements, but we're going to go after other programs. No, you can't do that either. That's what they're coming back with now, is that you can't touch any money, nothing. They're trying to lock out the Treasury people out of looking at the Treasury funds.
Make that make sense.
Like how
make
is
that make sense?
Elon Musk and his team are government workers. They are special government workers that he hired specifically to do a job, which is audit the federal government. And that's what they're doing. They're going line by line, agency by agency. Where are your books? Open them up. Let me see them. And these people are trying to, in some cases, physically stop them from opening those books up.
Yeah.
So they are hiding something.
The one thing that I think about is when they start to go after the Pentagon and the military-industrial complex. And as Marlon stated, they will try to do something, because who was the last president to try to audit the Pentagon? Was it Reagan? Was it Reagan?
I think it was Reagan.
So, remember Reagan wanted to audit the Pentagon, and what happened to Reagan? So you got to understand how desperate these people are. And the military industrial complex is huge when it comes to funding, because this is how a lot of these people get their money, is through the military industrial complex, stealing resources, sending people to foreign wars. So imagine once they go after the Pentagon, you're going to see them get real desperate at that moment. All these other agencies, they're kind of like, yeah, whatever, whatever. We're not worried about, the Department of Education, whatever. But you start going after big money like the Pentagon and IRS, you're going to see head spin.
But I think that's also one of the reasons why he didn't go after it first, because it would have been too big of a splash. What he's doing is going after these little agencies nobody's heard of or even care about.
Yeah.
The national defense budget for 2009, 10, and 11, $697 billion. 722 billion, 738 billion.
Yes.
Only goes up, never goes down.
Okay. So all I know is that if this thing is going to be looked into that, that's why I think the deficit is just going to get hacked.
We are almost to $1 trillion in defense spending. And the majority of the time, they don't know where the money goes, where it is, or where any of the equipment is that they paid for in the first place is. Like, how can you run a country where you lose so much money that you don't even know where anything is? That doesn't make sense. That's not even common sense in the first place. Lose trillions of dollars in things and assets that belong to the government.
Makes no sense. Makes no sense at all. Did RFK get confirmed?
Yeah, he did. And he's been going to town already. So
I had heard it. I just there wasn't a big splash made about it, which is why I was worried that it didn't happen. So all we have left is Cash.
It did happen. Yeah.
Tulsi got confirmed.
Cash and Tulsi are going to be the harder ones to get through. Once those get through, I think
Cash is going to be harder. Is going to be the hardest one, because the FBI. If Cash Patel gets in there and really starts digging in the FBI, a lot of things are going to be coming out. A lot. Yeah. And they're worried about their, how they look to the American people as being law enforcement, pretty much.
Crazy.
So they're like, wow, you did all of this. I wonder what other crooked laws and all these police officers, it's just going to shake up the whole system. So Cash is going to be a hard one. But at the end of the day, I think he's going to get confirmed.
I'm with you there. I think both of them will get confirmed. And if they don't, I think he will do recess appointments like he has threatened to do and push them through anyway. Because those are the two he actually cares about.
Yeah. Well, we can hope. We might see what things are happening with RFK.
Did you see that other thing about those generals saying that they won't comply?
Oh, yeah, but they'll eventually get fired. So it doesn't matter.
I ain't worried about them.
Okay. Generals are just going to end up getting fired, and I hope it does. I pray that they get fired like ASAP, Rocky. So we'll see.
But you see the fermenting coups that is happening from the Democrats. That's the whole point of this whole thing, is that they're trying to ferment instability and chaos in order to stop them from looking at the money.
They forget that Hexet's in charge now.
Yep.
And it's just a matter of saying, oh, you don't want to do what your leader is saying to do? Well, there's an easy fix for that.
You can
here's your
resign.
walking papers. You're gone. And we'll make sure we give you a dishonorable discharge for failure to comply with lead. So there you go. Pick one. He's over generals. Now you're out of here. Have fun. Now we're going to bring in some actual men to do the job, not these betas, not these cucks, and we'll make things happy again. Okay. So I'm looking. Look, all the people that are important right now to make things really move are in. Bondi's in, Hegseth's in, RFK is in. Watch all hell break loose over the next year and a half. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Let's just see. I know if Cash does, oh my goodness. Oh, we're gonna have people pulling hair. No more wigs will be left because they'll pull that off their head.
What's really gonna be impressive because of go ahead, Michael, sir.
Marlon, I don't think it's gonna be a year and a half, man. I really don't. I think
it will.
I think by summertime, it's going to start in March next month. I think you're going to see like a huge like uproar. And I think by the time summertime comes around, you're going to see like people gone, people fired. It's going to be like a whole new system getting implemented. Because you got to remember, by the time 2026 comes around, it's the 250-year anniversary of America. So I think a lot of this stuff is just going to be. It's going to be, cleaned out, and people are going to be riding high by that time comes, and he's going to have that big celebration because it's going to be a celebration for everyone.
I think you're right. I think what the American people are seeing right now is that we went through 4 years of doing nothing. I think Joe Biden was probably the worst thing that could probably happen to the Democrats, is they had somebody that could do nothing the entire time. And now that Donald Trump comes in, it shows that they could do something. They just always choose not to every single time. Because he hit the ground running and he's been doing all this stuff. So people are going to see constant action from this administration every single day, every single week. It's going to be, we've got new arrests, we've gotten these busts, we've got these criminals off. We're doing things for you. We're saving you money. We're doing these things. We're helping the economy. And by the time it hits midterms, people are going to look at it and go, he's done so much. Why would I vote for somebody that's not going to promise me the moon and give me nothing?
He might get moon dust. I'm looking forward to the next few months, and I will make sure I keep this on replay. I'll clip it up and put it for when we're ready, so we can just hear him say,
"You're fired. Get out of here."
That's what I want to have is, "You're fired. Get out of here." That's gonna be a new catch thing. I'm gonna download that right now while I'm thinking about it and clip it up. It'll be our thing.
That as a button.
Yeah, exactly. So love you guys, mean it. Y'all have a grand rest of the day. We'll be back on Wednesday. Hopefully Lee will be here.
Yes.
So don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys. We out. Peace.
War.